What's good? What's good? I was doing some metacognition. So essentially, thinking about how I think. I do that a lot. It's kind of fun. I just like to think. It's weird. Most people don't like to think. I love it. So, anyways, I was doing some metacognition, and I may have had a realization, um, particularly around a specific issue that I've been struggling with. And there's a specific story that kind of is connected to all of this. And that story is, I'll give the short version. Growing up, my life, there were kind of different phases. And at different phases, I had a different sort of best friend. And for one of those phases, I had this best friend who, because of his friendship and the generosity of his family, exposed me to some wonderful experiences. Specifically, his family had this house like in the middle of nowhere. You had to go down this long, windy driveway. They had like just a little bit of electricity. They didn't even have running water. Like there was a pump and a well. They had an outhouse. There was this massive like swing that went over this little pond. This thing, like this swing that you would like hold on to and then swing over. Core memories. So many core memories with this friend. But as life happens and people go in different directions and whatnot, I moved away and we kind of lost touch a little bit. I'll take the blame for a lot of it. A big reason being I was kind of a douche in my 20s. I admit that. I'm trying to work on it. But anyways, we lost touch, but it wasn't like anything hostile. And then a few years ago, like I haven't heard from him really. We haven't had any substantive conversation. And the last message I have from him before this most recent incident that I'll get into, the last message was from 2020. So 4 years ago, January 2020. And it wasn't even anything meaningful. And so he hit me up kind of asking how I was doing and whatnot. And I just didn't know what to say to him. And there are so many people in my life that were I to meet face to face, or even if they were to reach out to me directly, I would not know what to say to them. Obviously not because I lack words. Look at my YouTube channel. I love to talk. And it's like I have ideas of what I would say, but I am consistently engaging in this exercise where I'm trying to figure out what I would say to these people. And I kind of understand why to an extent, but maybe on a superficial level. And I've been exploring it we're trying to figure out on a deeper level. So on a superficial level, it's easy to say these people have just become brainwashed and it's hard to connect with NPCs. That's like the easy superficial answer. But I don't want to settle with that because I miss the connection. I miss the friendship. I don't want to give up on these people. And so on a deeper level, what I was feeling was that any intimacy that I would attempt to create with them would be fake. because I would have to refrain from being who I am at my core. I would have to put myself in such a small box to fit within their bounds of acceptance that I would no longer be myself. And how do you explain that to someone, especially someone who might just innocently be existing? Like, how do you explain to them that you just cannot be yourself around them? Well, you can say that, and then they'll be like, oh, of course you can. And then you start talking, and they're like, oh, you're crazy. And so recently, this friend that I had the core memories with, that I lost touch with, that recently reached out, you know, I wasn't trying to be a dick or anything, but essentially I had said to them, you know, I don't even know what to say, man. He asked, like, how it's going, where I'm living these days. Where am I living these days? And I've been homeless for years, on and off, and I've been struggling with housing, and there's other things. Like, I just was like, I don't even know what to say, man. I really don't want to make small talk, and I don't think that you'd vibe with the big talk. And I wasn't trying to be a butt, but that's just honestly what it is. He's got a family, he works, his life is good. He, more or less to my best understanding, is indifferent sort of to the political reality we're existing, indifferent to the totalitarian reality that we're existing in, which is kind of ironic. It's actually really ironic, because, you know, the story I told you about the house in the middle of nowhere with, like, no electricity or very little electricity and no running water. You know, his parents were fucking hippies. This dude was raised by hippies, and he is just indifferent to the social atmosphere of our time. And I guess maybe he just didn't want to be like them. But even them, like, his dad has Trump derangement syndrome, and it's funny and sad. But any small talk I try to make with someone who isn't on the level would be fake and superficial. And it's I don't think it's rude. I don't think it's being a dick. I think it's just saying we don't have much in common anymore, unfortunately. I wish we did. And I know you want to talk about your family. Awesome. I'm really happy that you have that family. But if you don't wake up to what is going on in our society, your family is going to be in great jeopardy. And I can say that, and you're just going to call me crazy. Or you're going to dismiss me, or you're going to say, you know, you don't want to talk about that stuff. Literally. So many, this is another frustrating thing that I kind of want to just throw into the video. There are a lot of woke people now who 15 years ago didn't give a fuck about shit. Because I've been trying to have these conversations for 2 decades. And 15 years ago, my peers didn't care. Most of them were just partying and wasting their lives, or if they weren't wasting their lives, they were leaning into the superficial nature of the Matrix reality, the commercialized, hyper-commercialized, hyper-statist reality that we live in, and they're playing the game because it nets them this level of pleasure opposed to seeking rational and moral virtue. And so it's been really frustrating, and this is partially why I suspect, my personal theory, not stealing this from anyone, I suspect the EDM rave scene is an extension or has some connection to MK Ultra or whatever they renamed it to, or whatever they did with it. I think there's a connection there because I saw a lot of this social justice crap really start taking rise as the peak of the EDM scene sort of peaked. It's still popular now, but I think the scene is it's peaked. That rave culture, the psychedelics, mind control, it might be a psyop, which sucks because the music is awesome and the drugs are awesome. LSD is the fucking shit. Oh God, I haven't done it in so long. I would love to do some LSD right now. Because I think I go to awesome thinking places on LSD, and I started the video by saying I like to think. And I've uncovered a little bit of, how I think, and I just wanted to share that with everyone. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. You should go drop some acid and hug your neighbor.